So, in the course of doing these resources, we've also become aware of other organisations that have done similar things. Alcohol Concern UK having what they call their Blue Light Project, which is their work around change resistant drinkers. So, people who have quite kind of multiple complex problems, alcohol being one of them, but who don't think they want to change their alcohol use at the moment. The people who kind of get written off by services because they think, well, they're not motivated to change. It's a lifestyle choice, you know, they're just always going to be like that. And this project is around, well, actually, they still deserve care and they still deserve support. And if you do that well enough, it might be that some of them will actually think about changing their alcohol use. And even if they never ever do that, they still deserve care and support.
Since the last time I spoke to you, like a gentleman has moved into the centre where I work, and he's going through this exact thing. He's coming to end of life. He has cancer. He doesn't really have family or anything like that. But I do feel like that, like he may not know just how much support is out there, because exactly what you were just saying, Sam. He's somebody who's like, I'm making no bones about this. I am going to use drugs and I'm going to drink until, you know, I literally can't do it anymore, you know. And like, I think a lot of people, like you say, are kind of writing him off as like, well, that's his choice, then he, you know, might as well just let him go along his merry way. But he still does have other issues, and there's still ways to help.
When you kind of get asked, well, you know, but or when somebody just says to a practitioner, you know, okay, they're still going to use alcohol, drugs, but how can you support them anyway, rather than waiting for them to change their substance use and then thinking that they're eligible for some care. But then the final bit of the jigsaw is that Walton Hospice, so the Marie Curie Hospice in Liverpool, they have their new homelessness palliative care coordinator, and she is starting to develop training for, I think, hostel staff in particular.
This work, because to me that is the model. It's that understanding of what there is, how you access it, how does Dom access it, you know, as this person who is the closest possibly to an individual. And I remember, Dom, me and you talking way back. Talk about, how do you talk about somebody who might be dying? You know, from your perspective, and what support is there? That's I remember that was one of your primary wishes, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, for a little more understanding, because it's hard. You can put something into Google, you might be looking for something and you put it into Google, but the thing that's most relevant to you could be like the 300th link, you know. You could be pages down from where you're looking, really, because the things that come up at the top are not necessarily what you're looking for. So it can be hard to know which are the best places to go, really. And so any help with all of that is always good, because, you know, you only need one or two of those things. But say you're on your 15th thing and you're going, that's not relevant, you sort of, sometimes you give up because you've been looking for 45 minutes and haven't found anything anywhere near what you're thinking about. So, and this is a bit more like what we're actually talking about, because the last time I was looking after somebody at end of life care, they had already given up their substance and drink addictions. So, you know, whereas this is very specific to what we're doing. He's not giving up, and he uses lots of different things, you know, sometimes very heavy drugs, not just alcohol, you know. He's been addicted to very heavy substances for many, many years. He doesn't really have any family around him or anybody. So yeah, it's kind of important, because he really is, you know, falling down all of those little avenues that we don't get to go down so much, because we focus as well on families and things like that, and all the things he doesn't really have.
Yeah.
And he's not particularly interested either in getting to know too many people involved in the services, but I've slowly started to get this little thing with him, you know, this little rapport where I will ask him whether it's a good day and things like that, and he will talk to me about it. Whereas at first he was like, oh, don't ask me about it, I don't want. He is slowly opening up, and the more I can open him up, then the more he'll be open to services, I'm sure. So, you know, yeah.
That's a really touching sort of and real, you know, circumstance, Dom, I think. And the whole thing of, you know, receiving the best care you can without you having to change a jot about who you are.
Well, oddly enough, I used to see him walking around the centre with a little acoustic guitar, and he used to like playing it every now and then. And I thought, oh, I'll sing him a song, you know. And he was just so happy. So, and I'm pretty sure now how to make him happy. That's not a problem. It's very easy. Just sing a song with him or something, or I'll lend him like a book of poetry, because he really enjoys reading poetry. Just little things like that. I kind of know how to keep him happy. It's just accessing his like inner emotions and inner thoughts, really, that like I'm just getting my head round at the moment. So yeah,
this is what you need in how to take care of people.
Yeah.
How do you make them happy?
Throughout watching, looking at all these sheets that you've put up, the workbook and things like that, on my mind, basically, I've been going, could this particular service user understand this? You know, would he be able to get through this quite easily without it being a chore for him? And that's why I said that I really like the look of the workbook and things, because I thought, yeah, and I know he could totally easily associate with all this. So
is that we've introduced them and started to think about how we can engage, connect with them from, you know, in terms of those questions, you know, would this help such a body? How would it help them and me? How would you use that?
My immediate thought is that there's one or two people who would have benefited greatly but are no longer with us. What I'm feeling, and it's just a gut feeling, is that this is becoming to me more about how to optimize someone's life while they're still here and give them the best possible life, rather than easing them through, you know, into the next one. It's about, you know, there are so many facets to caring for somebody who is using substances and is also seriously ill, to give someone the space to have a little bit of joy in their life, because otherwise it's all the medical model. And I love that idea of, what do you enjoy in your life? You know, what do you want out of your life, whether it's the carer, the individual, whoever, you know, what do you really want and what do you really not want? How simple is that as a starting point? That idea that someone's written off because they appear to make a life choice to continue drinking and using. There are many people who don't have that choice, you know, that they drink and use because they have to.
Yeah.
And the thought that they can just be dismissed and not even receive adequate pain care or pain relief because they're not being seen to, you know, follow the party line.
But we don't want to lose that. How would such a body, what would they get out of it? You know, where would they find it? Who would read it with them, or would they?